I'm not even sure it's legal for this board to delegate to the chair an obligation that is the board's obligation to deliberate and approve. So I question why this board is abdicating its responsibilities and whether or not all the other multitude of insufficiencies in the application have been addressed or are even going to be discussed.
Thank you, Mr. Whitaker. Is that the end of your comment?
It depends on whether you're going to discuss them or not.
Sure, I want to give you your full opportunity. This is going to be the only chance for public comment here. We generally don't open up for a member of the public to participate in deliberation. So I don't want to cut you short if you have more that you want to add in. Okay. All right. Any other members of the public that would wish to speak during this time? Okay. Here, oh, that's a board member. All right. Hearing none, why don't we move on to the agenda item? So as folks can see in the memo, this has been reviewed by Jacob along with staff attorney and then leadership. So the recommendation here is to amend the earlier growth center action in accordance with what's been drafted here in the memo.
Is the recording going? Yes, okay.
So why don't we just open this up to the board for any questions or discussion, or if somebody wishes to make a motion. And Jenny, for today's, we'll do a roll call on the vote. And if anybody has the motion in front of them, feel free to read it. Otherwise, you can make me read it, and I'll toss it up to you all to make the motion. Okay, so the recommendation is a motion to amend Montpelier's Growth Center designation approved by the board on September 23rd, 2024 to not take effect until the applicant has met the following conditions. Complete a regionally confirmed planning process and regionally approved municipal plan containing provisions in alignment with the boundary amendment that accurately describes the growth center pursuant to Chapter 139 of Title 24, and submit the plan to the board chair for review and approval by the chair with notification to the Community Investment Board. That's the recommended motion.
I'm happy to make that the official motion. I guess my only question, Alex, would be, depending on the duration of time, whether any other elements of the application that we approved were to change, would we put a stipulation in to address those modifications as part of the approval process based on this motion?
I have an answer, but I'll also let Jacob give any further detail. My answer is everything else would need to remain constant. They need to continue to meet all the other requirements that the initial motion was predicated upon, and these as well. Jacob, does that sound right?
Yes, I would agree with that, and the motion does include the line containing provisions in alignment with the boundary amendment. So I think that's another piece of language that affirms that consistency.
Thank you.
Okay.
So just so I'm clear, if a duly adopted plan moves forward that has boundaries inconsistent with what is proposed today, the whole thing would have to come back to the board.
Correct.
And a question, this is a little bit bigger picture. I don't, maybe for Jacob, I don't know if, and then I don't know if agency counsel's on, but the under statute, the role of this sub-area plan, it cannot be a sub-area plan that allows the growth designation. Correct.
Jacob, I don't know if you have an answer for that.
To restate the question you're asking,
I
you
was just
said,
curious about the role of sub-area plans. I mean, I think like if you think about the way like the comp plans in particular are time intensive and very long dated, and the sub-area plans are oftentimes a little bit more nimble, but are nevertheless communications of a community's intent. And so I just sort of wondered about the interplay. I think what we're hearing is that the statutorily it's got to be the comp plan or the town plan. But I just wanted to confirm that.
yeah, that's correct. It does need to be the comp plan, and the comp plan can include a specific area improvement plan.
Okay. Does anyone care to, unless there are further questions, does anyone care to make the motion that in accordance with what I read?
I'm
This is
sorry,
Chip. I think Michelle made the motion and I'll
Yeah.
second it.
Okay, I wasn't sure if that was officially, so Michelle has made the motion, seconded by Chip. Motion on the floor, second. Any further deliberation now? Charlie?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure where to start here. I kind of I guess I want to at least articulate a little bit of concern. It does feel like we're in a little bit of a funny place. I don't have 100% comfort of the application is fully meeting the statute. I guess I'd ask, future applications to have a little bit more like detail, like here's all the requirements, here's how they're all met. And maybe this is the only outstanding thing, but it feels a little bit weird that we've gotten to this place. I frankly did not have a lot of time to review this. I was off on Friday and Monday, so this is pretty quick. So I'm a little bit uncomfortable in general, but then also just uncomfortable with delegating our responsibility to the chair. And we pulled together a special meeting in 3 or 4 days. So I guess I'd propose an amendment that it come back to the board rather than the chair for review and approval. So I'll move that amendment.
So we could do a couple things. So Michelle could rescind her motion, and we could instead move to take this up at the regular board meeting, or folks could seek to settle this in another special meeting. That's probably less practical. I think really the regular board meeting is the next decent opportunity if board members don't feel as though they're ready to make this decision. Michelle, it's up to you whether you withdraw the motion if folks want to talk this over more, but those are the options before us.
Can I ask for clarification as to whether there is a time sensitivity that would not allow us to wait until the next board meeting?
It really has to do with, I think, trying to meet the demands of some of the other aspects of this growth, the growth center, and pursuing a TIF district, and I think trying to meet the needs of the municipality without having this board continue to revisit it several times. Now, that said, this board has the right to do whatever it would like with this application.
Well, I guess I'm wondering, since my understanding of the motion is that this is not going to be approved until the town plan becomes in alignment with the growth center proposal. That's not going to happen in the next 3 weeks. So I don't think this board is holding up anything that is a requirement for another process to occur, such as a TIF designation. But that's what I'm trying to understand.
Right.
So I think at this point, not hearing any specific time sensitivity, I would rescind my motion and agree with Charlie's suggestion that we take it up at the next board meeting.
All right, motion's been withdrawn. Chip?
Yeah, I just wanted to know how long the town plan, the city plan update process might take. There's a scenario by which, while the city plan is in its hearing process, the hearing draft could be brought before us. We could verify whether or not what's in that version of the plan meets what we think the standards are for the growth center designation. And then we could direct the chair that, provided that part of the plan never changes, once it is finally regionally approved, the chair could let us know it's done. And that would give us a chance, that would give the whole board a chance to see that aspect of the plan while it's in process. And then it's just a matter of, if it doesn't change, we could pass a motion then that the chair can make the growth center boundary amendment final. So there's one scenario where we don't need to delegate it to the chair right now, because it seems like it's not, like the plan process still needs to take effect anyway.
Yeah. Thank you, Chip. Sounds like, Chip, did you want to hear from the applicant as to a timeline, or I think the logic of what you said?
Yeah,
still
that would be
holds.
good. Yeah.
Okay. What? Yeah,
Yeah.
Mike, do you want to speak to the timing of the drafting?
Yeah, so the city is already working on its city plan. So we are expecting that we're going to be having public hearings this winter and moving into the hearing process. So if we would have this done and wrapped up, my expectations maybe by April. If you guys are having quarterly meetings somewhere in that time frame. So that's not an issue. I think what the city's concern was just making sure that we aren't having to reset back to a full application process, because that usually resets with Jacob then having 60 days to review the applications, and then going forward with a longer process to then get, if it had to get reapplied, we would then be a much longer process than it is to go through and say, everything else meets requirements. We've had a review. The only thing that's deficient in this application is this one map. Then yes, as Chip laid out that process, we could certainly bring in our application, our draft map boundaries to the board, have you guys review it, bless it, and then yes, that sounds like a perfectly fine process for us. It doesn't slow down our TIF. We can work on our TIF applications. It's going to take months to put that application together. Everyone who's done these knows this is not a fast process. We have to get the consultant on board, get the process going. We wouldn't be applying until next spring to summer anyways, just timing wise, to get that application ready to go. So I think what's been laid out is a good process to get us through. As I said, our concern is we just didn't want to go back to a process where we have to reapply, because that's a much longer process.
Got it.
Then could we consider a motion to keep the application active and current until such time, but pause the approval until such time that a proposed growth center map in the new city plan could be brought before the board?
Right. Yeah, I hear what you're saying, because the motion from the previous meeting is still in place. I don't think we want to rescind the motion, because that would start the application process over. That's inefficient. But at the same time, if we leave it as is till the next meeting, technically that first approval is still in place. Though I'll say, technically that isn't approval, because again, even with that first meeting, there was still a requirement that they submit to the board chair the capital investment plan, and that obviously hasn't been done yet. So technically, there's no approval yet. So there is reason to say that there's nothing active. So I guess, Jacob, do you have a oh, there we go. There's your hand. Do you have a recommendation to sort of meet Chip's what Chip's seeking here.
Yeah, so just to clarify one statement you made, Alex, the findings have not been issued from the September 23rd meeting because it was contingent upon the issuance of the revised growth center boundaries by the city of Montpelier.
Yep.
Those have not been submitted yet. And so what I'm hearing from Chip is a suggestion that we not start the process again through a new application, but there be a corrected motion to related to the municipal plan to move this along. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think that to avoid having a brand new application, we don't want to cancel out the original application. We want to keep it alive, pause approval until the other conditions of the previous approval are met, as well as bringing the required elements of the city plan before the board for our consideration.
So essentially
while it's in process.
So that's basically the same motion, except instead of authorizing board chair, we're really just asking it to come back to the board. So it's essentially the same motion.
All right.
So why don't we instead, why don't we, Jacob, I'm going to propose a motion. You tell me, well, I guess the board can say if this meets sort of the recommendation from Chip here. So instead, we'd be seeking a motion to amend Montpelier's Growth Center designation approved by the board on September 23rd, 2024 to not take effect till the applicant has met the following conditions: complete a regionally confirmed planning process and regionally approved municipal plan.
Well,
and
no,
containing...
not complete it. We're leaving
you want to
open
see
that they could bring it to us while it's in process.
You want to see the draft and make sure it complies.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, the only issue there is we still can't approve it until the plan is actually adopted by the city, right? So I mean, that would help reassure the board.
That's what we could give off to our board chair, is that we like what we've seen, as long as it doesn't change. Once the city adopts it, once the RPC approves and confirms, then our chair can sign off on the approval.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Well, folks have the draft motion in front of them. I'd hear a different motion that captures that.
Alex, I see Adam.
Alex, was there already, so we were already waiting for information before this would take effect. Is there anything time bound that does not allow us to simply wait for the submission of that information, sufficient to run parallel to the city's ability to provide all information? In other words, can we essentially recess this until we receive that information and not have to take any action today?
You could. I mean, it's a matter of if the board is comfortable with that, because technically that leaves open the possibility that if the other requirements were to be met, though they haven't, and the city has not submitted what's been requested in the original motion, but in theory, if they have, the board chair had been given the authority previously to approve. Now, I won't, given this discussion, but it's more a matter of the board's comfort. So I think technically we could table it, and I could just say board chair will not approve anything until the next meeting. But that's, again, in a way, the board still delegating authority to me.
Then I make a motion to amend our earlier approval that the chair may not act on final approval until it is discussed at our next meeting.
I'll second that.
And then at that next meeting, we can further amend and provide a final direction, perhaps, on how this can all play out.
I think that covers us.
Yep.
Okay. Any further discussion? Okay. We'll do roll on this. So Jenny?
Yes, and just to make sure I wrote this down correctly, Chip The chair may not act on the final approval until it is discussed at the next board meeting, and that's an amendment to the September motion.
Right.
All right, thank you. All right, we'll start with Adam Grinold,
Yes.
Billy Coster,
Yes.
Bruce Cheeseman,
Yes.
Charlie Baker,
Yes.
Chip Sawyer,
Yes.
Kevin Chu,
Yes.
Laura Trieshman,
Yes.
Michael DeRocher,
Yes.
Michael Gahn,
Yes.
Michael McDonough. I see a hand. Michelle Boomhauer
Yes.
and Alex.
Yes. Okay, thanks, folks. We did want to get this in front of everybody as soon as we had caught it. So at least now we've discussed it with the board. So I at least feel better that the board's had a chance to review this, review the history, and see where we've landed. So we'll do some more prep leading up to the next meeting so that we can have some recommendations and a few options before the board to consider. All right, anything else before we close? Okay. Thanks. Happy Tuesday.